Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
DJ PK and Chris Anderson joins us. The Spring Football Tour takes us to West Virginia. Chris is the owner and publisher of Ears Sports, as in Mountaineers. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I read your summary of the spring football. You did a thing where you ranked all the position groups, and I was reading it. It's not a perfect match, but the comparisons between West Virginia and Colorado. Coaches who are known but not established winners where they are right now, but certainly well-known personalities and big personalities, and both going way into the transfer portal, and change is welcome in both those organizations, both near the bottom of the standings. So I see a lot of parallels there, and I was wondering with all these changes if they upgraded the team, and reading what you wrote, it seems like they've definitely upgraded the O-line, and they might have upgraded quarterback, but the defense is still a massive issue. Is that a fair analysis of where West Virginia stands right now?
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. Offensive line, funny enough, they went out, spent a ton of money, added a bunch of transfers, and then the conversation shifted amongst fans, not coaches, I assure you. Did they spend too much on offensive line? Did they get too many offensive linemen? Of course, in this day and age of NIL and rev share and all that stuff, you do have to worry about your budgets and where you're spending your money, so you don't want to overspend somewhere. But with how bad the offensive line was last year, them going out and getting guys, and I think I put this, I don't know if I put it in that story that you read, but in another one, like last spring was so bad on the offensive line that when you went into practice, you had no idea who some of these guys even were. They were like former walk-ons that were still suiting up for the offensive line as starters. There are guys that are on the third-team offensive line right now that are better than what West Virginia had on their first-team offensive line in the spring last year. So they've really revamped that room right there.
Our guy Rich Rod is known as an offensive coach. Had an opportunity when he was out here at Arizona to watch him. I thought he probably still does, has an excellent mind for offense, and he can really highlight the quarterback and make the quarterback – actually, I believe he can make the quarterback look a little better than he is because of the system that they run. So we saw last year multiple quarterbacks play in that system. Scotty Fox is a returner, but they brought in, I believe, a transfer from Oklahoma, Hawkins. What's it look like for the battle? Plus, they've got a bunch of freshmen, too, that I know Rich Rod likes.
Yeah, I was going to say last year we kind of poked fun at him saying, I got 5 quarterbacks I can win with. And he played 5 quarterbacks. They just didn't win. This time around, I think he's really, he's been saying some nice things about some of those freshmen, and they certainly fit more of his archetype of what a quarterback is in his system. But really, this is a Hawkins versus Fox thing right now. And on the Fox side of things, it's almost like, hey, that's your safe choice. Like, that's a guy you've already seen, like your floor at quarterback is a slightly better version of what you had last year. That's your hope. Like, that he's better than last year, and that's your floor. The reason they went out and got Hawkins and why they spent some money to acquire him and targeted him very early in the transfer portal is because he is shiftier and faster than Fox. He is a guy that probably fits more of like, if you talk Rich Rodriguez of the first stint at WVU, like 2005 Rich Rodriguez, Hawkins fits more of that type of offense than Fox does. So I think he really wanted to try that and get that and see what it can work with. And we've heard positive things about how it's working out. And it's going to be a battle between the two of them. And it's, the age-old question, do you take the safe option or do you take the riskier option with the higher upside?
The position group you have the most confidence in right now is running back, and that ought to frighten people around here because when Rich Rod was at Arizona, he had multiple teams where running backs ran for 200 yards plus against the University of Utah. And that just doesn't happen to Kyle Whittingham, and it certainly doesn't happen in consecutive years when he knows what's coming. He knows the coach, he knows the running back, he knows the whole system. He's got it all on film and time to prepare, and that it happened again, and there were multiple nightmares. Ooh, is it that type of running attack? That's the one thing Rich Rod seems to have down cold, and the way you rank him suggests that maybe that's what the run game is going to look like this year.
Yeah, so last year it was Jaheim White, who was a stud, but broke his ankle in the first half of the second game of the season, and he went down. They immediately replaced him with Ty Edwards, who ran for 140 yards against Pitt and 3 touchdowns, and then he immediately got hurt. So right off the bat, as you mentioned, that's the strength and the focal point of a lot of Rich Rodriguez's offense is the run game, and they're already on their 3rd and 4th and 5th running backs by week 4. By the time before Big 12 play even starts, they are on their 4th running back because another player had gotten hurt during the preseason. So how do they fix that? Well, depth, that's a question mark. It's a lot of freshmen, but a lot of freshmen they like a whole lot. But right at the top of the thing is Cam Cook, who led the nation in rushing yards last year. So if you tell me, hey, we're going to take the nation's leading rusher and then put him on Rich Rodriguez's offense after they spent 3 times as much on the offensive line than they did before, that sounds like a very positive thing for West Virginia's offense.
I think the final tally I saw was 37 transfers, 36 high school kids, and 11 junior college kids, which at the JC level, we don't see that as much. And that's a lot of kids to bring in, particularly in the way the rules are these days. And if you're going to bring in JC guys, the theory has always been that those guys need to find a way out in the field right away because obviously they got not as much eligibility as high school kids. So with that in mind, any of these JC kids that we should be looking forward to?
Yeah, look on the defensive line. I was when I was talking to someone over on my site, I like to do a capital S someone, meaning someone within the program that would know. They spent their money, and we talked about it, spending your money, your budget on certain positions groups. And they told me they were targeting and acquiring junior college players on the defensive line and spending the money as if they were P4 transfers. Like they thought that these guys were just as good, that these guys could contribute right away. And that would be Jalen Thomas, KJ Henson, and Darius Wiley. All 3 of those guys are projected to be among the top 5 or so in the defensive line rotation for 3. There's 3 spots. You usually have 6 guys rotating in and out, and they're 3 of the top 5 for sure. And so I would expect all of those guys to make a difference on the defensive front.
So is the D-line going to have a big-time pass rush, or they got run stoppers in the middle, or you think they got both and the D-line's really going to be able to control the line of scrimmage?
Well, their hope is both. You got a couple of those guys that I mentioned are going to be more interior guys like Thomas and Henson. They're going to be like the defensive tackle, those tackle types. And then on the edge, they tend to run like a defensive end with a bandit, which is kind of a stand-up edge rusher, which a lot of teams do nowadays. And for those 2 edge rushers, the defensive end, that's Ezekiel Durham-Campbell, and then the bandit's likely going to be Harper Holloman. Those are 2 guys that were very, very good at their previous stops. Campbell over at East Carolina and Holloman at Western Kentucky. And they're hoping that, as a lot of teams do, I'm sure like Colorado does and everybody else in the Power 4, like you are targeting some of these group of 5 guys and hoping to get like 90% of their production at the Power 4 level. You hope that it translates like that. And if it does, that could be very good for West Virginia because those 2 guys were extremely productive, graded out very high on PFF. Graded out with like all of their pressures off the edge, among the best in their respective conferences. Now, again, it's got to translate to P4. It's got to translate to the Big 12, and West Virginia's hoping 90% of that can.
I was listening to the defensive coordinator's spring wrap-up, and we know last year virtually everybody on the team practically was brand new, and he was talking about how last summer they had 40 guys join the team during the summer for when they started camp in August. I mean, that's an awesome amount of, staggering amount of new players that weren't there in the spring ball. So he believes he's talking about, there are a few holdovers. He mentioned Cutter at linebacker and Taylor, I think, is a DB, that those, because of the numbers, won't be as shockingly large, that the fact that they have that continuity should just allow itself to make the defense better as far as that goes, because there won't be so much newness involved. How much do you buy that?
100%. I wrote a story back in December that broke down last year and how I thought it would be different this year, in part because there's no more post-spring portal window.
Right.
That's helpful for a team like West Virginia, and also because they targeted a lot more guys for early enrollment and spring enrollment. And back in December, I looked at the numbers for last year. So, like, the guys that were there in the spring of 2025 and that were actually on the roster in fall of 2025 when games started, only 73 out of 123 players listed on the roster were actually there in the spring. So, like you said, 40 new guys, but it was 50 total. Not all those guys are going to be contributors, or some are walk-ons or whatnot. So it was 50 guys, and of the 51 players that saw at least 100 snaps, only 32 of them were there for spring football. So basically 1 out of every 3 true contributors to the team in the fall didn't arrive until the summer. And their very first practice ever with Rich Rodriguez was like 4 weeks before the season. That's not going to happen this year, again, in part because of the post-spring portal window, and because they targeted guys to come in the spring.
Looking at the scores from a year ago, that defense was giving up points and yards at a staggering rate. 41-10, 48-14, 45-13, and they were getting shredded. If the D-line's better, that'll help and all that, but it doesn't feel like you have a lot of confidence in anybody behind them. Is that true?
Yeah, a lot of question marks in the secondary for me, to be honest with you. They went out and they targeted some dudes. I think we like to call them dudes or dogs or whatever, not just Jags, just another guy in the secondary. But some interesting moves about where they're going to be, and I think there's some question marks about how they're going to shift around, because a guy, for instance, like Jameer Latimer, who was with Zach Alley, the defensive coordinator, at Jacksonville State a couple years ago, then transferred to Wisconsin. And when he was at Jacksonville State, he was an excellent outside corner. Excellent. That's why so many teams wanted him in the portal. He goes to Wisconsin. They move him to like a nickelback, like a slot corner, and it was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. And so when he committed to West Virginia, reuniting with Zach Alley, my belief was, yeah, they're going to slide him back out to outside corner. That's a big help. And instead he's back at nickel. And there's other guys like that too, guys that you would think are safeties are actually lining up at corner, and guys you think are corner are lining up at safety. So I think it's left some question marks, especially at corner, because now you feel confident with some of the safety and nickel spots, but maybe not quite as much at corner. So there are going to be a lot of question marks, I think, back there in the secondary.
Bowl eligible this year, yes or no?
It has to be, or else Rich Rodriguez is probably going to be 2 and done. Maybe
2 and done. Wow.
At most. Yeah. I mean, and you ask him, he'll say it. He's already said it. He's already been very open about it, that he understands that he's on a short leash. He understands that, he was brought back here. And part of the reason why he got the job over maybe a couple other candidates was that he made the pitch that he could make the quick turnaround, that he would not be doing this year zero and build it up over 4 years. Like, sure, they want to build the foundation of a program, but that he understands the game in this day and age and how you can hit the transfer portal, and taking a 4 to 5 to 6 year approach is just not the way to do it. So he has confidence in a quick turnaround. He has confidence in getting this team back to bowl eligibility, and fully understands and has publicly stated, like, hey, I know that if we don't start winning, I'm going to be on a hot seat. So I think bowl eligibility is pretty much the minimum for this team this year.
Well, with Texas Tech, Houston, and Utah on the November schedule, then it feels like a fast start is imperative.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was going through game by game, and you look at some of the early stuff there. I think it's before their first bye. Is that right? Yeah, between BYU and UCF. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And it's like, looking at the wrong schedule. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games before their bye, their only bye, between at TCU and at Texas Tech. And it's like, hey, can you go through those first 8 games?
5-3 or 6-2.
How many of those? Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't think if you look at that schedule, because for the first time in a long time, and Neil Brown complained about this, and a lot of other people complained about this, West Virginia is not playing 2 Power 4 teams in the non-conference. For reasons that they thought were good, they were scheduling, at Penn State, at Virginia Tech, and then also playing Maryland, and also playing another Power 4 team, also playing Pitt. They're not doing that this year. It's Coastal Carolina, it's UT Barton.
That's
an
Rich
FCS
Rod.
school.
That's Rich
Yeah,
Rod.
it's more like it. Yeah, get back into it. Build up your confidence with a couple easier opponents, hopefully. I mean, West Virginia did just lose to Ohio last year, so not Ohio State, Ohio. So don't take it for granted. But, yeah, you look at that first 8 games before that bye, and it's what? I don't think there might be one game where they're more than a touchdown underdog. I think everything would be a touchdown underdog or less. So they're all winnable-ish games for West Virginia there in the first 8.
Well, we will see how that plays out, Chris. Thanks for the time. We appreciate you coming on and talking about Mountaineer football.
Happy to do it anytime, guys. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. There's Chris Anderson. He's the owner and publisher of EAR Sports, covering the West Virginia Mountaineers. They don't play BYU this year, and they play Utah in Salt Lake City in the regular season finale.
Leftovers.
Thanksgiving, November 28th, baby.
It's a Friday.
Little turkey, little gravy,
Well, no.
little rice.
I do
Like the rice stuffing, or you go bread stuffing?
bread.
Ooh, ugh.
I go.
What about the rice stuffing?
You're ripping my old lady for her food choices.
You can have all my bread stuffing. Good for you. I'm actually more ripping what I eat growing up.
No,
I don't
you're
like the
ripping
bread growing
her
up.
because she doesn't put on the table what you don't like, what you like. You just because that's her domain. I back off. We have our domains, and that's her domain.
KinahanComedy.com. That's PK's domain.
Nonsense.
KinahanJersey.com. KinahanNonsense.com. These are all PK's domains. You share KinahanGolf.com. That one you share.
She runs it, though. Thursday is the traditional Thanksgiving. Friday is turkey sandwiches. And then Saturday, also the sandwiches. And then Sunday, back to the mashed potatoes and gravy leftover.
Oh, you save that till Sunday.
Yeah, and then you wrap it up.
Mashed potatoes. Awesome.
But that's Thursday and Sunday.
Roasted is also fantastic.
And then, but the sandwiches on rolls, little rolls have like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. That's Friday, Saturday. That's entertainment food.
I don't want to wish away all of summer and the entire college football season.
Yeah.
But that sounds good.
Right. So you're sitting on the couch
10 pounds heavier.
watching football.
Yeah.
Thursday and Saturday, you're at the dinner or Thursday and Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, you're at the dinner table.
Friday, Saturday on the couch.
Yeah, because you got ball on. Yeah.
DJ PK, there's a little football for you for West Virginia. Now, when we come back, Bronson Kaufusi joins us, former BYU football player, now promoting the Charity of Champions football event. We'll talk with Bronson about Cougar football coming up. Stay with us.
For Jazz fans, it's been a rough few years. Well, those days are behind us as the Utah Jazz finally struck gold in the NBA Draft Lottery.
Picking second.
As the Jazz prepare to draft a potential superstar with the number 2 overall pick, nobody will bring you better coverage of the NBA Draft than the KSL Sports Zone. For all the breaking news, high-profile interviews, and player analysis leading right up to draft night, keep it locked on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 15th through the 28th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. DJ and PK, we're joined now by Bronson Kaufusi, former BYU football player. He's now promoting the Charity of Champions football event. Bronson, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
It is going well this morning. How's it going for you? What are you up to these days?
Oh, man, just staying busy, helping athletes, chasing kids around, all of those things.
So what is this charity thing you got going? Tell us about it.
So this all came from, I've gone down and played in Aaron Rodgers' charity flag football event, and there's been a few throughout the years. And I just wanted to bring it to Utah. So people sponsor teams. They bring 6 to 7 of their friends. Then we add 3 or 4 NFL players to their team, and you play flag football 4-on-4 for the day. And all the kids can come. 8 and under are free. And it's such a rare, opportunity to have, over 40 NFL players, current and former, in one place, and, allowing the kids to get to meet these heroes. And, because really one conversation can change their life. It happened last year multiple times. Parents were texting me afterwards, like, thank you so much. Our kid talked to Dalton Kincaid, and ever since that conversation, he's been training hard every day. And Tyler Algier was there. We had a lot of former guys, Danny Sorensen, Nate Orchard, Malik Jackson. Like we had a lot of guys there, and it was just amazing.
So what are the details on this? When, where, how do people get there? What does it cost, if anything? How does this all work?
Yeah, so the date is going to be June 27th, and it'll be here in Utah. It'll be at Corner Canyon High School, and you can buy tickets at charityofchampionsutah.com. And so how it works is for general admission tickets, they're $15. And those are like up in the stands. But then if you want a VIP ticket to be on the field with the guys, those are $150, but those are all on the site. And then, but 8 and under are free. So that way we can get a lot of the youth kids. And we have discount codes for all the youth football teams, high school, youth. We just want everyone there because it's just, it's just so rare to have that many NFL guys in one place here in Utah.
So who's going to be catching those bullets you're going to be throwing at quarterback?
Oh, man, we got some real – last year, what's awesome about it is there's no rusher, right? So it's very similar to 7-on-7 where they just, you have 4 seconds to throw the ball. And so, last year I was on Team Traeger, and we played in the championship and got beat last second there. It was a close one by Team Lux. So, yeah, we'll have 10 teams this year. So, but all the guys, it's so fun to play with NFL guys in their environment or close to it, right? You don't get that opportunity. So it's fun to be out there, and the competition starts to rise. And these guys get more serious as we go because the tournament gets a little bit more heated. And it's fun to feel that, as someone that's never been out there before, right?
Yeah. Nobody wants to lose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets intense.
Do you have all the commitments from the players? You got a long list of guys coming back?
Yeah. So, yeah, we have a lot of guys coming, which I'm super excited about. What's cool too is players, will come just like last second, and because they'll hear about it and be like, oh my gosh, I totally want to be there. And it's just so fun because the field's smaller. So, you can guard some of these guys, right? As best you can, but you get that opportunity, and it's safer. It's like no one really like opens up full speed, I would say, unless it's on like the first play, because you have the full 35 yards to go score a touchdown.
So you do you have the guys? Do they go both ways, or do you rotate in and out?
So they go both ways, and if they want. Or it's funny because, some of the guys that play offense, like in the NFL,
yeah, they
just want to play defense the whole time. So, they can do, or they want to play quarterback, right? And, it's so fun. And some of the guys are just there to hang out and walk around, right? And what's cool about it is the people who sponsor the teams, that money goes towards all the NFL players' charities and to other ones as well. So, we have the opportunity to help. We can help over 20 charities all at once through kind of like this larger event. Yeah. So it's neat because, so many NFL guys locally have charities, Kyle Van Noy, Britton Covey, Garrett Bowles, all these guys have charities. And so it's really cool to be able to have something where all the charities win by bringing everyone together to have really, Utah's premier NFL player event.
How many of the guys are you connected with full time, and how much is this a treat for you to get to see guys that maybe you don't have as much contact with?
Oh man, it is so fun to be with these guys. Just because, the NFL season, it gets busy, right? You have OTAs that are going on right now, and then they have like a 5-week break. So getting to see them before they go into the season it really is a treat, and just to reconnect and see what's going on. I love helping players off the field, be successful and be able to transition. But also, one of the most important things is knowing that, hey, you know what? I am going to hang it up one day. And so I need to come to these types of events to network and meet people and just be curious to ask questions and, be able to kind of set some roots down for when I do finish playing, because, not everyone gets to choose when they're done playing.
That's for sure. Are you following the Cougars at all still?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Right. Well, they've had 2 really good seasons under Coach Sataki. I would think that that's got to make you happy as an alum to see them do well. Just gives general assessment of the program, because it seems like in the last 2 to 3 years they've taken major strides.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement there. Especially this upcoming year, I feel like they're reloading in a lot of different areas. They have a strong O-line, quarterback with Bear coming back. They've added a few key pieces at tight end with those guys coming in. The wide receiver core. So, and then defense, right? You're able to reload with some of those defensive players. It's really exciting, right? I think one thing that's really helped BYU is being on the recruiting side, right? Being in a conference, I think, is major, and being able to have depth. So that way, if your number 1 goes down, the number 2, 3 can get in there and play at a high level. And so I think they're going to reap a lot of benefit there, just from their recruiting pipeline.
You avoided the letters N, I, and L while answering that question. I'm curious, what do you guys say in NFL locker rooms when the talk turns to NIL and rookies come in, and rookies can say things like, oh, I don't have to touch the contract money because I'm pretty well set with the NIL money. How much eye rolling is there among the veterans in NFL locker rooms?
I had a really unique experience where, I think it was like my first week at the Ravens, and Steve Smith comes up to me. And I knew Steve because Steve was at Utah when my dad was there coaching, and I was just a little kid running around asking him for his gloves. So, he came up to me and he's like, hey, do you think you could survive off $1 million the rest of your life? And I was like, no, I think I need to work still. And he's like, absolutely, read this book. And he gave me Richest Man in Babylon. And so I read that book, And that book was the first financial book I had really read. I graduated in statistics and analytics, but I really don't know. I didn't know a lot of money, right? But, from that moment on, when I finished the book, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, what'd you think?" I was like, "Oh, it was great. There's a lot of good principles in there." And he's like, "Hey, it's important to know where every penny is." And so that experience, I feel like for me, set me up for success just from a veteran player, helping me understand the importance of the opportunity that you have in such a small window of time. And so to maximize and leverage it is vital. And so what's really neat and something I'm super motivated around is, can we educate mom, dad, brother, sister, player at the high school level because they're curious now, right? Because of what's coming. And can we instill financial principles that allow them to root down so that way when they go into college, everyone is set, everyone understands the bigger picture, the bigger plan, and understand like, hey, this could set us up for a really long time if we do it right and if we apply the knowledge that we get as we research and find great people to advise us.
Did you see guys at the pro level wasted away?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't because, I felt like a lot of the players that struggled on that front, it was just, 2-3 layers deep. They didn't have a great, group, a great network, or an uncle or someone in the space that is high level when it comes to, wealth management, financial advisory, things like that. And it's hard because if you don't have anyone 2-3 layers deep, what do? A lot of players just turn to the first person they talk to.
Uh-huh.
And the first person you talk to isn't always the best person to go with, because you need to be able to, have multiple people and be able to ask questions and deep dive with, I want to talk to at least 5 people and bounce ideas off of multiple people. That's a big thing that I that's helped me is, okay, how do you choose a financial team? How do you choose, even on the agency side, like what is a track record? How do I look that up? How do I break that down? And so to me, it's always more than football in all of it, right? I help out with, OG1 Athletes, which is, NFL NIL agency founded by Bruce Tollner. If you guys know that name.
Yeah, that's Whittingham's agent. Tollner
is his dad.
Yeah.
And so, on that front, it's been, it's he's been my agent for a long time. And he's, not every agent's built like this, where they understand that it's bigger than the athlete. Like it's your family. Sports is this big. Let's maximize it to the fullest. But hey, let's make sure you're set up for after, because everyone's going to hang it up.
Right.
And most don't get to choose when they're done playing because you're too old, you're too hurt, all of that. And so I'm a big believer in finding people that always understand that it's more than football.
Yeah. And Steve probably saw a lot of those stories as well, and they come in a lot of different flavors, but that's why he gave you that book. Because whether it's too many homes or too many cars or sex, drugs, rock and roll, crazy lifestyle, family and friends, you're a nice person and you don't want to say no to family and friends, and the money can be gone. And there's a lot of paths to losing the money and not capitalizing on it. There's a lot of paths. So Steve probably saw it. That's why he handed you that book.
Yeah. Oh, there are certain players within each locker room that are very motivated to help the next generation of athletes. And so those guys are the ones that are, putting together meetings for players, right? Like helping players understand, okay, what's a 401k? How does the NFL match it? Why should I do this? And, but my biggest thing is athletes need to be curious. Like they have to be curious with everything off the field because of the opportunities that are there. If they're not curious, then you risk not knowing where everything's at. And people take advantage of the athletes that don't ask the questions. So I think it's important that the athletes, I call it a new age athlete, but it's a new age athlete is one who understands, hey, I am a brand, and I start building it now in like middle school. and in high school, right? And I am my own company. I need to make sure that I am set up and the story being told about me is positioned correctly. Even from, all the decisions I make matter. And I need to learn about what does ownership mean? What does equity mean? I've seen, the basketball, NBA guys, they really understand this at a high level. The football guys, I feel like we're catching up, understanding how do we get ownership in companies? How do we get ownership in leagues, teams? And it happens at every level all the way down now. And so it's just something that, I feel like the new age athlete, they're a completely different animal because they're facing different things with a new environment. And so everyone has to be on the ball.
Do you think between now and whenever the end of time is, that will actually be a season of football in which there won't be someone with the last name Kaufusi playing it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking right now, I'm okay. We have Carson up at Utah.
Right.
We got, that's Doug's boy. And then you got down here, you have Ace, Micah, Oli down here at BYU. And what's funny? I think my son and Isaiah's son, they're both they turned 7 this month. So I think they're the first ones that'll be at it after that. So I don't know. I think it might catch up actually. Just that 4 years. And I don't know if my son plays football, right? I'm just like, dude, play every sport, be super active. But I just want him to love the game, just because I'm really big on youth sports and helping parents navigate that space right now. Just because I've seen both sides of it. Parents will be a huge liability to their kids in the athlete space, or they can be a huge asset. And so I'm really big on, helping parents navigate that piece and helping their kids love the sport early instead of, I see it all the time, which is crazy. I mean, like 20 years later, kids are getting burnt out still earlier because their parents are, just making it not fun for them. And the kids just give up stuff early, which is really sad.
Before we let you go, will you give us the date, time, and website so people can go to the game?
Yeah, Charity of Champions, June 27th, 9 a.m. It'll be at Corner Canyon High School. And to get tickets, the website is charityofchampionsutah.com.
charityofchampionsutah.com. Bring your phone for the selfies and the action photos. Everybody's a photographer these days. Hey, Bronson, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, guys. Really appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
There's Bronson Kaufusi, former BYU football star.
Wouldn't it be sex, drugs, and rap, though, these days?
Probably, yeah. Well, it depends who you are. I mean, it's sex, drugs, and country. Country music's big. You hear about that
in the
stuff
NFL?
You hear that stuff about that stuff in the locker room, fighting over the music. Yeah, because the rosters are big. Not by sheer numbers, but there's still somebody. There's still somebody. I mean, there's 53 guys, and they don't keep a roster together all year. Injuries,
10 guys
coming and going, and guys coming and going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
rap, rock, country, yeah. But I think the Jazz is okay. I don't think the Jazz is taking people down.
The ghost of Led Zeppelin still carries on.
Right.
I can remember one time Dan Rather was interviewing Robert Plant, the lead singer from Led Zeppelin, and Rather says, man, when you were at your peak, the debauchery and all that you did and the partying, it was just second to none. And Plant says, oh, well, thank you. Took it as a compliment.
DJ and PK, coming up, more on the NBA playoffs. Game 1 in the West was a thriller. And Donovan Mitchell, is he going to the NBA Finals? Game 1 in the East tonight. We'll get to all that coming up. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCouf.
The Jazz selecting number 2 in the upcoming NBA draft. So, if there's one thing that scares me, AJ's the safer pick. And that's what makes me nervous, is that Washington is going to be like, okay, we've really swung and missed, and we've really done some problems. So let's go the safest superstar available in AJ and let somebody else take the risk on Darren. If I'm the Jazz, then I take that risk on Darren Peterson. But I exhaust every option available to me to get AJ.
I encourage every everybody to go back and you do watch pre-Kansas film on Darren Peters. I want you to watch his handle, specifically how he navigates ball screens. He can become a better passer, but he's not bad as a secondary playmaker. You just look at him, it's his frame. To me, there are real reasons why this guy can be great.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million 5-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Game 1 in the East. Donovan Mitchell, Sam Merrill. Are they going to the NBA Finals? Could it happen? You believe, PK? 50-50?
No question in my mind it could happen.
Okay, it could happen. 50-50 call, true toss-up. Knicks 60-40, 70-30. We talked about this earlier. There's no way you're more than 70% in on the Knicks.
I'm not. No. I believe Cleveland is as good as the Knicks. I believe Cleveland not coasted, but they didn't have all their guys, and they make a massive trade to bring in Harden. And how does Harden play? What role does he accept? Mm-hmm. And as you pointed out, they were 28-10, you said, down the stretch. Yep. They didn't start well, but it didn't really matter to them. They knew that their season would be defined by May and June, not November and December. And this is a veteran team. They're not playing young guys. I mean, they're all relatively young, but you get the point that it is a team that has experience throughout all levels of what they do. You bring in a guy like Schroeder, my gosh, he seems like, I think he's 32 years old, but it seems like he's been in the league 15 years running around with various teams, and he's a hired gun. You put him in, and he's going to look to score. He's like a Jordan Clarkson was when the Jazz had it going on with Quinn Snyder. And so you got guys like that, and they've got some bench guys that they can use, and they got some versatility if they want to put Strus into the starting lineup and take out Dean Wade. He's a big banger guy, kid out of Kansas State. D. Wade, he gets called, but he shouldn't be called D. Wade.
I know that.
Like so calling somebody Dr. J, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's like when there was a Kareem at running back for UCLA. No.
And that Sharice Shaw's brother.
I know.
And he was Sharman Shaw when he went to Dorsey because it covered him.
Yeah.
And
but Kareem,
he spelled it differently.
He did. It was, I think, I-M.
Yeah, and we had a when I was going to ASU in the broadcasting school, there was a guy named Eldine Bennett, and he was the dean, and people would call him Dean Bennett, but he would go by Dean.
So it'd be Dean.
Well, it was confusing. Well, are we calling him Dean Bennett, or are we calling him Dean Bennett. If people didn't know.
Dean Bennett.
And I believe he was the play-by-play guy for the Cougars, I think it was, before Paul James.
Oh, really?
Go look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I believe he might have worked for KSL.
I did not know
in the
that.
50s.
I hadn't heard much about that. Yeah, I knew that. I knew Paul James had actually called maybe 4 years or something like that of University of Utah sports before he went to BYU.
And I think,
which I was surprised to find out. I was here a while before I knew that. But Dean Bennett was
who was LDS.
Yeah,
who was the dean of the broadcasting school. He was a play-by-play guy. You can look that up.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll do it. DJ and PK, give me something to do in the break. When we come back, that was an epic Game 1. So many things happened in that Thunder Spurs series, Game 1 of the series opener. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.